What if Martian Manhunter wasn't a Martian at all? Today we're going to talk about everything we know about Absolute Martian Manhunter. It might be the most radical transformation we've seen of a DC character in the Absolute universe. Out of all the reimaginings that we've seen or heard about so far, this is the one that diverges the most from the original character. Have they gone too far? I think so, but we'll get into that later. And we can talk more about it on Discord. I will put an invite link in the description. If you're a big Martian Manhunter fan, if there is such a thing, you don't really hear much about people, getting up in arms about anything that happens to poor Martian Manhunter. Ditched him for Cyborg in the Justice League. I didn't hear anybody make a peep. But if that is you, if you are a Martian Manhunter fan, you might not love these changes. And I would like to know what you think. So let me know in the comments. Let's take a look at the changes to John's origin, the direction that the story is going to take, and some great art. But if you thought you knew John Jones, prepare for a shock, because this is not that. Of course, we don't really know that much about Absolute Martian Manhunter yet. It's probably the one we know the least about. We do know a few things. It'll be written by Dennis Camp, who wrote the Ultimates for Marvel. It'll be illustrated by Javier Rodriguez, who worked on stuff like Green Arrow, worked on Batman the Brave and the Bold. While we're on that note, I would like to go ahead and take a second to talk about the art. Got some other things to say, and it won't really make sense to circle back. So the art is very unique. I like it a lot. It might not be everybody's cup of tea. It's different than what you usually see in a comic. It's minimalist, but also has some psychedelic influence, and there's some pop art feel to it. You've got, on the one hand, Agent Jones, who's got a really clean, simple design, not a lot of detail, just a very sharp, flat look. Then you see the Martian. Jones, his plain appearance makes the Martian side pop even more. Bright, clashing colors that don't even try to look realistic. It feels alien, surreal, like it's melting or shifting, very in line with Martian Manhunter's shapeshifting powers. It just feels almost formless and kind of has this trippy vibe that says, this guy's not from around here. The styles give you a sense of the different identities that are going to be colliding in this one person. It's just a great visual, and it shows a lot of thought went into thinking, like, how is this going to really work? What can I do visually to go above and beyond and really make this something great? According to Camp, Martians in this world are not from Mars. But FBI agent John Jones is taken over by an alien consciousness. And Martian is the word it chooses from the words Jones knows, like it's in his head. And I guess the way they talk is the Martian is able to somehow access his lexicon in his mind and pick whatever words are closest to meaning what he wants to mean. So he says he's a Martian. A lot different than what we're used to. We're used to seeing Martian Manhunter is an outsider. He's a loner. He's trying to make his way in a world that is not his own. Unlike that straight outsider's take that we usually get from Martian Manhunter, this is going to be an outsider's perspective mixed with an insider's view in the same head. So we'll see them interacting. And Camp says the series is going to be about Jones slowly going insane, but in a really fun kind of way. So whatever that means. What do you think? Does this change make him a more interesting character, or does it lose the essence of what it means to be Martian Manhunter? That's the tightrope that all these writers are having to walk when they're working in the Absolute universe. And I don't know how many Martian Manhunter fans there are out there, period, let alone any diehard purists. So the twist that he's not a Martian and he doesn't even come to Earth may or may not be a turnoff. In my mind, it seems kind of like if Absolute Superman wasn't about a superpowered alien who landed on Earth, it was just some Kryptonian who possessed the body of an Earthling. It just doesn't seem like that would be a Superman story anymore. I think what happened probably is they figured they've already got an alien outcast because this version of Superman didn't grow up on Earth. And John Jones doesn't really have any overzealous fans to start any petitions. So maybe they just said, here you go, guys, have fun. Personally, I have not paid much attention to Martian Manhunter ever. I recently read the 4-issue limited series published back in '88 by DeMatteis, yeah, J.M. DeMatteis. I think he's a big deal. I should know how to pronounce his name. But it was well written. I liked the writing. The writing was good. The illustrations were cool, kind of sloppy at some points. Overall, it was a good story, but I'm not going to be the one to get upset about the changes. If anything, I think this could be a way to generate more excitement around the character. It sounds like they're going to go for a psychological horror feel, which could be really fun. Then you have Al Ewing's also going to be going the horror route with Absolute Green Lantern. So we're going to have 2 horror takes on these DC heroes. And I don't know what that's going to mean when they all join up with the Justice League at some point, but I'm looking forward to finding out. What's going to make it or break it for me is what role the Martian powers are going to play in the story. They've got to be available to Jones in some form, or he's not really a superhero at all. If we're reading a story, it's about a guy named John Jones, but then it's really about this alien who takes over his mind. I don't think I'm going to love that. I would rather it be that it's about a guy and maybe they work together. Maybe the alien is able to give him his powers somehow. I would imagine, I think this is probably the obvious route, that he'll be trying to solve some crime and also maintaining his sanity with this alien in his head, and the alien will help him solve the crime somehow. It doesn't seem like much of a stretch, and I would hope that they've maybe found some twists that we don't see coming. But I'd love to know what you're thinking about this new direction. Do you think John can reclaim control, or is he going to be maybe just taken over entirely by this Martian consciousness, or are they going to work together? What do you hope happens? What do you think will happen? Let me know in the comments. And if you're enjoying this breakdown and would like to hear more about the Absolute Universe, then don't forget to subscribe for more.